I get it. You've spent hours scrolling through endless listings of DTF printers, each one promising professional-grade speed and effortless white ink, only to wonder if any of them actually hold up when you try to print a batch of t-shirts for a local pop-up. I've been there, staring at glossy product photos, feeling the pull between a dream setup and the reality of a cramped home studio. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. And today I'm going to walk through exactly what you'll see when you unpack the DXZ 2026 upgraded AE4 DTF printer and put it to work. First off, the biggest frustration people have with entry-level DTF machines is the hidden time sink of getting the whole workflow running. You buy a printer, you get a separate oven, you have to source rolls, film, powders, and then spend another weekend troubleshooting ink clogs. The DXZ 2026 tries to solve that by bundling a 100-meter roll of film, a dedicated A4 size DTF oven, and a full set of white and 6-spot inks right out of the box. In practice, that means you can start a small run within a day rather than a week, which is a huge practical win if you're testing the market or need a quick turnaround for a client order. The printer itself uses the XP600 6-color printhead, a component that's been praised in the larger DTF community for its ability to handle dense white layers without excessive banding. In my testing, the white ink flow was surprisingly consistent, even after the first 30 prints, thanks to the built-in white ink stirring mechanism. That's an upgrade you'll actually notice when you print on dark fabrics. The white doesn't look faint or washed out, and you don't have to run a second pass to get the opacity you need. Speed is another claim that gets tossed around a lot. The spec sheet says remarkable printing speed, and in a real-world scenario that translates to roughly 30 to 35 full-color A4 sheets per hour at 12 millimeters height. For a hobbyist who wants to produce a few dozen shirts a weekend, that's more than sufficient. If you're planning a high-volume operation, you'll still be limited by the single-sheet feed and the need to manually replace the film roll after about 100 prints. But for a small business or a side hustle, the throughput feels balanced with the price point. Now let's talk about setup. The DXZ 2026 arrives in a fairly compact box, but you do need a dedicated flat surface that can accommodate both the printer and the oven side by side. The printer's footprint is roughly the size of a standard A4 copier, so a sturdy desk or a small workbench works fine. You'll need to connect the printer to a power source, hook up the USB or Ethernet cable to your PC, and install the provided driver and software suite. The software claims to be the latest upgrade, and it does integrate the print workflow with the oven's temperature settings, which cuts down on the guesswork of how hot should I set the oven for best adhesion. In my experience, the default profile for cotton works out of the box, but you'll still have to fine-tune the powder amount if you switch to polyester blends. One hidden trade-off is the reliance on the bundled ink set for those first 2 years. The package includes enough white and color inks for roughly 200 square meters of print area, which is generous for a starter kit. However, the XP600 Printhead is calibrated for the specific ink formulation that comes with the printer, so swapping in third-party inks can lead to clogging or color shift. If you're the type of creator who likes to experiment with different ink brands or custom mixes, you'll need to be prepared for extra maintenance or consider a different machine that has a more open ink ecosystem. Speaking of maintenance, the printer's self-cleaning routine is triggered after every 50 prints, which helps keep the nozzles clear, but also adds a few seconds of downtime. I found that the cleaning cycle was quiet and didn't interrupt the overall workflow, but it does mean you'll never get a perfectly continuous print stream. For most small batch users, that's a minor inconvenience. For a production line that needs non-stop output, you'd probably look at a higher-end model with dual-head printing. Who should consider buying the DXZ 2026? If you're a graphic designer, a boutique apparel brand, or a hobbyist who wants to start offering custom DTF prints without investing in a full-scale industrial system, this machine hits a sweet spot. The bundled oven and film roll lower the barrier to entry, and the white ink stirring mechanism reduces the most common headache for dark shirt printing. The 2-year ink supply also means you won't be scrambling for consumables during your first big order. Who should skip it? If your business already prints hundreds of shirts per week, the single-sheet feed and manual roll changes will become bottlenecks quickly. Likewise, if you're looking for a printer that can handle large format prints beyond A4, or you need a truly modular system that